Well, things are happening fast and furious, and I guess that's the way it is in show business. Gavin, good morning to you.
Morning, Ken.
I really have to say I really enjoy your work, and it's a pleasure to talk with you this morning. Gavin MacLeod is in Sullivan because he's in a show down there called Mass Appeal, which runs through the weekend at the Little Theater on the Square in Sullivan. It's incredible that it's actually a two-man show, as I understand it, isn't it, Gavin?
Just two people.
Those are the hard ones to do, aren't they?
No, I find it the most rewarding because as a result of just having two people on stage, your scope, your range as far as acting goes is far greater. You've got to do everything, you know. I mean, this character starts off as a very, very strong, wonderful, loving kind of person, and eventually he breaks down and it's the shell of a man left. That actually has been there all the time. And there's a drunk scene, there's a funny scene, there's a lot of, it's the range of emotion. And as a result of only having two people in it, it really plays like crazy.
Mm-hmm. This is really, I suppose, fun for you then. You sound excited about it.
It's fun. I read it, and I know I had to do it, and so I took the only vacation of the year off to do it. Most of my guys on the show all went to Hawaii to have a great time.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while, I started to envy them just a slight bit because I needed a vacation there. I haven't had anything in 3 years. And so but doing this play and to work with Jerry L. Fitzgerald and Charlie, the actor I worked with, it's just a fabulous experience, a once-in-a-lifetime experience. So I believe in taking things when they're there. And it was there. And we've been in 3 places before this, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and Massachusetts, now here. And we broke the 35-year record in Pennsylvania. We broke the 56-year record just last weekend in Cape Cod, which was a great, great feeling. Especially since Ted Knight broke the yearly record, the weekly record 2 years ago.
Well, you just mentioned a fellow that automatically associates you guys. I wonder if you're ever going to be thought of as not working together. The Mary Tyler Moore, probably the most successful show from the whole period of the 1970s.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Charlie and I, after opening night here, Monday, was the night before last, we came home to a little party. We met some of the founders and the people that run the theater. Very nice people in Sullivan. And we came home, we put on a television. There was the Mary Tyler Moore show. And it was so nice to see it. And I don't know, it conjures up a lot of emotions and memories and everything of the past, you know?
Mm-hmm. I don't know, the writing in the Mary Tyler Moore show was absolutely terrific, but the characters were so real, so believable.
Yeah. It was. When we finished that, our director, Jay Sandridge, said, he said, look, he said, now, this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing in a career, and you've got to just put it up on a little shelf and leave it there and get on to making a living, because you're never going to have this again. And realizing that, that's exactly what all of us have done.
Mm-hmm. You went on. I'm thinking that the character that you portrayed as Murray was entirely different from the character on the Love Boat, the captain of the Love Boat.
Oh, yeah.
But now Ted Knight went on and sort of did another Ted Knight kind of a character. I'm trying to think, have we seen you before the Mary Tyler Moore show?
I've been acting since I was 4 years old. And that's one of the nicest things you could have said, because I've done almost every show on television. But before the MTN show, mostly everything I had done had been of an extreme character nature, which means I've played Germans on Hoganteros. You know, I beat up Barbara Stanwyck 6 times on the Big Valley. I would change from part to part. I would have hairpiece on, I would have a different dialect, I would be thin, I would be fat. It was sort of like a Paul Muni kind of career. Nobody knew me from part to part except the people I worked for.
Mm-hmm.
And I always made a very handsome living. And so I've always been grateful for that. But it was not the kind of thing you'd build a career for the layperson on, for the mass audience. Doing a series is what does that.
Mm-hmm. And what was nice about the Mary Tyler Moore show, you had certain episodes where you were the featured character. I'm remembering the piano episode.
Oh, my God, with Barbara Barry. Oh, you know, when she finally kissed me, we have a live audience for the Mary Tyler Moore show. The audience went, no, no, no. They didn't want Murray to get involved in any kind of way, you know? And it was amazing the kind of audience participation that really happened when we were doing that show.
Mm-hmm. It is 16 after 9 o'clock. Would you mind if I break for a commercial?
No, go ahead.
I know you have a terribly busy schedule, and we're starting your day awfully early. But maybe we could take a phone call or two if people are interested in finding out more about Gavin MacLeod. Would that be okay?
I'd like to talk.
Okay. 829-2345 is our number, or 1-800-322-9377. We'll be right back.
There are people selling their homes today who are willing to be very practical. They know you're not going to pay current interest rates. They're too high. So they've decided to loan you money to buy their homes at a lower rate to help you bring down the overall rate. It's one reason we've recently sold many homes at an initial effective annual percentage rate of 12.6% and less. So look for the people willing to lend you money. You'll find them through your nearest Century 21 office. Call today. It could be your opportunity to get the home you want on terms you can afford. Some transactions may be subject to refinancing.
We're America's #1 top seller.
Because we know sellers willing to lend you money.
Century 21.
See Century 21's ad in Sunday's Pantograph Classified section.
It's 18 minutes after 9 o'clock. We're back, and I have a caller here. Do you have a question for Gavin?
Yes, I do. Number one, I want to say that Gavin MacLeod has got to be one of my favorite actors. He's very adaptable in the roles that he plays.
Thank you.
And you're very believable.
Thank you.
And I also wondered if any of the people on the Love Boat, not so much as the cast itself, but the guests that come on, if any of them are enemies or if they don't really like each other and maybe they end up liking each other, not so much romantically, but as friends.
Well, I tell you, the Love Boat is some kind of a strange experience because there are certain people who have reputations, and those reputations follow them wherever they go. And certain people have come on our show and they felt with hesitancy, but I would greet them. Like some of the major stars of all time have been on the Love Boat. The big movie stars, the big stage stars, like when I was a little boy. The reason I became an actor, because some of these great people have been on our show. And most, as soon as they get there, they just have such a wonderful time. There hasn't been a single person, I don't think, that hasn't requested a return visit to our show. We just embrace them with the kind of love and the kind of feeling I have about being alive and about sharing our happiness and joy and success with all of the actors that come on. Usually actors, a lot of actors are very, very insecure. And if they don't work for a long time, they really get jittery. And we have people that haven't worked for maybe 10 or 15 years. And they come on our show and they're nervous. And it's such an easy thing to understand. So I get a hold of them and we just start talking and I touch them and their hands and I embrace them. And so right away, they're right at home. And it's sort of like, almost like the captain would do on a real cruise. Usually the captain will greet people coming aboard if he's got the time, or will make a point to see them at the captain's reception to welcome aboard, to make them feel comfortable. And that's one of my natural pursuits or activities as in playing this character. I went to make up before I left to come on this tour, and there was Greer Garson. Well, Greer Garson was the biggest star in my life when I was a little boy. And here she was doing the show, and we had scenes to play together. So it was very, very, very easy to be able to just say, welcome aboard, and give her a hug and a kiss and so forth, and be thrilled to death about it.
Why am I under the impression that you do the entire filming on the boat? Is that true?
No, it would be nice. No, we go out once a year. As a matter of fact, just before, we returned about 5 weeks before I left for this particular, this play. We went to the Mediterranean this year. We were on a Greek liner, 2 different ships, the Sunline. And we went to Greece, we went to Athens, went to the Greek islands, we went to Turkey, Istanbul, Kushadasi, we went to Jerusalem, we went to Nice, Cannes, France, we went to Italy. It was some kind of a cruise. As a matter of fact, my producer has been unable to see my play this summer because he was scouting for next year, which will be Japan, Hong Kong, Kowloon, Shanghai, Red China. Some kind of thing, huh?
Yeah. Ma'am, if you're
we don't go out all the time. We go out like once a year. But when we go out, we take a lot of stock footage. It's very expensive of us coming into port, some aerial shots of everything, to fit in throughout the year's work.
I think it's nice, though. It's a nice look that it's on film.
Oh, I think so too. You couldn't do this on tape.
Yeah.
They all seem like family.
Well, it really is. You see, I believe in that, and I believe that the family unit is the most important thing in the world, and I think that a lot of people feel when they watch our show, especially when we got to Greece. I mean, they treated us, it was like being a Beatle. We were frightened at certain times. They would rock the car and things like that. Just wanted to be close to us. And I said, I don't understand it. I just don't understand. I said, we're just actors, doing okay on television. Why is it? And so they explained to us, the council, that we are like a family. And we represent love and caring for each other. And they got specific about my daughter and I. That I am like the father of the entire group, and that she represents the youth of that country. As in Greece, they looked to Vicky, or Jill Whelan, who plays my daughter, as almost a symbol of what to be. So the last day we were shooting on our set, we had her around the captain's table, and they had her she's going to be 16 as soon as we get back. They had her in the evening gown, and the bodice was cut very low. And I looked at her and I said, dude, you can't wear that. Well, I didn't pick it out. I said, I know. I said, well, I don't care. I said, you can't do that. I said, you're still, you're not in college. You're still in high school. So we got to put a flower in the front of the dress so it wouldn't look so revealing. I think you have to be careful with a young kid going through those growth processes.
Mm-hmm. There is a responsibility there, isn't there? Yeah. Appreciate the call, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
If you're a Gavin MacLeod fan, you'll want to get down to Sullivan because the show only runs through the weekend, through September 12th, this Sunday night. And sounds like it's going to be a good one. Actually, you opened on September 7th, which was Tuesday night, right?
Tuesday night, right.
Yeah. Are you getting good reactions with it?
Wonderful standing ovation.
Yeah, terrific.
Apparently, the reviews have been terrific. I don't read reviews until the play is over. But anyway, they said the reviews were wonderful, and so I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah.
And the people that come just seem to really go. It's one of those wonderful plays that makes you laugh, makes you cry. It's what the theater is all about.
It's about a young seminarian who is really in love with his Lord, here it says, and is in hot water for his ideas. I haven't had a chance to see it yet, but I'd sure like to.
Yeah. Well, we're here to want to down.
Let me take one more phone call, if it's okay with you, Gavin.
Sure.
Good morning, WJBC. Whoops, they gave up on me before I got to it. If you want to have a question here, a quick question for Gavin MacLeod, give us a call. It's a rare opportunity that we get a chance to spend any time. I want to call you Murray for some reason. I don't know.
A lot of people call me Murray. A lot of people call me Captain. A lot of people call me Gavin.
Captain, yeah. There is a certain responsibility. We just sort of touched on that, though, I think. And I guess you really can't forget the kind of image that you are creating for the audience.
I think it's important that you know who you are, and number one, you have to be yourself. That's what life is about.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you also have a responsibility to your position, whatever it is. And I don't know. I find that the people that I work with are just the greatest, and their images are the way they are. They're just good images because they're good people.
Yeah.
Well, a series is very demanding, and you have to be able to, be up early in the morning, you have to know your words, you go home at night and do your homework for the next day. Series is a very, very responsible position, and it's interesting for young people to start with a series because either they do it or they don't